Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning. Good to be with you guys.
I saw pictures of you and your wife, Ann, ladling out from Crock-Pot's chili. Do you have any leftovers? And if not, we've got plenty of barbecue on our show today if you'd like to drop by in the next 45 minutes.
It's going to be hard to get there that fast, but in fact, we probably do have a little chili left over. It was Ann's recipe. Lots of peppers, lots of onions, lots of chicken this time. Healthy, so it was a great time.
Wow, day-old chili. That sounds fantastic in the morning. Governor, I got to tell you, I know that the Steelers, right after they lost the Super Bowl, won and looked at the tapes and find out what they did wrong, even though they weren't playing for a while. When you went back and re-examined your run for the nomination last time around, what did you discover? What did you do wrong?
Well, some things I could have fixed, and some things I could have changed, some things I couldn't. One was, of course, during the last contest, we were all focused on Iraq. At the primary season, we wondered, was the surge going to work? And I'll tell you, when you're talking about Iraq, that was in John McCain's wheelhouse. He did a great job and connected with the people on that issue. My issue is the economy, and I needed to make that much more forceful and clear. And right now, of course, with America's economy still reeling, I mean, we're 3 years into this president's 4-year term, and he's failed us. And because the economy is the issue today, I think I've got a real good shot of being able to replace President Obama and get the country back on track.
Governor, I think one thing you might get a bum rap for is the whole health care situation in Massachusetts. And I know I've interviewed you about this before, and you say, hey, you know what? It didn't end up being the plan that I originally proposed. But the majority of voters out there right now who hate Obamacare are kind of throwing you into the same mix. How are you going to get past that?
Well, as people get a chance to hear me and hear all the others, I think people will understand what we did was right for the people of Massachusetts. But I think we're all united. All the people running for president are united in our conviction that Obamacare has to be repealed. And I've put a plan out to show exactly what I would replace it with, which is to return power to the states to care for their own uninsured in the way they think best, and also to let individuals be able to purchase insurance on a tax advantage basis, the way companies do today, and finally to fix our malpractice problem. So Obamacare has to be repealed, and that's something I'm committed to.
And doing it on a state basis is what you did up in Massachusetts. Governor, I tell you what, though, the Democrats didn't waste any time. They've already got an ad on the air calling you a flip-flopper on health care. Listen to this.
When I set out to find a way to get everybody health insurance, I couldn't have cared less, and I don't care less about how it works politically. In my view, it's the right thing to do. It's a key issue that faces many, many people across this country that don't have health insurance. We need to find a way to get them insurance so they get better care.
Obamacare is bad law constitutionally. It's bad policy. It's bad for American families.
So are you a flip-flopper?
I am, from the very beginning, I've said what we did in Massachusetts was designed for Massachusetts. And when the president took pieces of it and imposes it on the entire nation, one, that's unconstitutional, because the powers that are reserved to the states include the care for our individual citizens that are uninsured. Number two, he raised taxes $500 billion. We didn't raise taxes. Number three, he took away $500 billion of Medicare support. Of course, we didn't do anything like that. His bill is 2,700 pages. Mine was 70. Our intent was to help people get insurance that didn't have it. His bill is to take over all of health care and run it at the federal level. It's simply wrong. It's unconstitutional. It's going to be repealed because the American people, in every way they can, have said Obamacare must not stand.
Well, do you think mass care is working, what they're doing in Massachusetts? Not many people feel that's working, so it's a model that's flawed to begin with, correct?
Well, it's not the model for the nation. And when I ran for office 4 years ago, I said, look, this is not designed for America. In Massachusetts, 93% of our people were insured, so nothing changed for them. 7% were the ones we were dealing with. In states like Texas, 25% of the people are uninsured. You can't possibly apply what works for 7% to 25% without breaking the bank. Look, the president has gone about this all wrong. I'm looking forward to debating him, because I'm going to say to him, hey, why didn't you give me a call? I could have pointed out what was wrong with the model, what worked and what didn't work in our experiment. It wasn't perfect, but I'll tell you, it was designed for one state. It certainly was not designed for instance, the state of Texas.
Yesterday, you made it official And it's interesting because even though you haven't spent a tremendous amount of time in Iowa yet, you're leading in the polls there. And I'm wondering what your strategy is moving forward, because we have this growing GOP field of Herman Cain and Michelle Bachmann and Newt Gingrich and Rick Santorum. And yet you are leading the pack without really being that much out there. What's the strategy?
Well, Gretchen, at this stage, I just want to get a chance to see people face to face. I'll go to a lot of town meetings, get a chance to talk about what I believe in, how I believe we have to get this economy going again. We've got, what, 16 million people that don't have jobs right now or have just quit looking. We've got millions more that are in jobs that are well beneath their skills. We've got home prices falling. Foreclosures still at record levels 3 years into the president's term. Look, people want to see an entirely new course for this country and a stronger economy, and that's what I know. I've had a real job. I think it helps to have a real job to be able to create real jobs.
Right.
And so I want to be spending my time doing that. I hope to do real well in Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina, Nevada, Michigan, Florida, all over the country. So you'll see me on the road a lot.
Sure. And once upon a time, you were governor of Massachusetts, famously. Another governor on the day of your big announcement there in New Hampshire. Did you notice, you probably saw it in the news last night, Governor Sarah Palin drove her bus right up to New Hampshire, and someone suggested, what's she doing? Is she trying to steal his thunder? And what do you say about that, sir?
I think she adds to the energy and passion around the campaign. I think it's a good thing. She's got a lot of followers, great enthusiasm, and when she speaks, people listen. That's a good thing for my party.
So you
and
just
we're all saying the same, general message, because we recognize this president has failed America, and that's something I hope America understands.
I tell you what, it would tick me off if I wanted to run for president of the United States and I made my big day, and then some other extremely popular powerful person in my own party showed up on my back door and took so much publicity. It didn't tick you off at all?
No, actually, this is not about getting publicity today. That time comes in the late fall and the winter when we get close to those primaries. Right now, most of us, if we're wise in a race like this, keep our head down, meet people one-on-one, build our team, get our finances in ready. Because this campaign really starts in earnest after Labor Day when people focus on the primaries.
And it's going to be an interesting one because you had Donald Trump kind of in, then out, now kind of back in. You have Mike Huckabee kind of in, out. Now he's making waves again that he might be open possibly for a VP spot again. What do you make of all this in and out?
Well, I think people recognize that it's a tough decision. For a lot of folks, personal issues come to play, family issues, that is, and they want to consider those. But they also recognize that the country is in peril. We're united in our love for America. We're also united in our recognition that this country's in trouble.
Sure.
And we want to get the country right again. And so you're seeing folks look at the various candidates, consider their strengths and weaknesses, and decide whether they're really in the best position to get America on the right track.
Right. And before you go, I know a couple of weeks ago you had this one-day event out in Las Vegas. You took in an extraordinary $10 million in one day. How is the fundraising going?
It's going well. That was a good start. These are lean times for America, as you know, and so we're going to run a lean campaign. We're not going to have the kind of funds that we had last time around, I don't imagine. We'll do our very best, but this is a campaign that begins in Iowa and New Hampshire, but then goes across the entire country.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that we're able to take that campaign across the country. But this isn't a campaign about money. It's a campaign about a message to get America strong again, to rebuild our economy so that we can tell our kids that we're passing them the torch, not passing them the bill for the excesses of government.